You're good.
Is that good? What's up, everybody? This is Marji, Gesick. Somebody help me with the pronunciation. This will be my 2023 race bike for this race. It's in like 3 weeks, right? When is it?
3 weeks.
Is it in 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. We built this today. This is a 2023 Specialized Epic Evo. So I've entered my bling era. We have...
It's not your bling era. You're literally just copying like what I put on all of my bikes.
So I've officially entered my bling era. Rose gold paint job, matte finish. Is matte and satin a different thing?
Yeah, satin's like satiny. Matte is matte.
This is not a new bike. And it's actually the second Epic Evo that I've personally owned. This one was built piece by piece specifically to do Marji. I've never done Marji. All I've ever heard is people tell me how hard it is and how rough and rocky the terrain is. So this is my solution to that. Let's start front to back and go through all the parts I picked for it. First, we debated over tires for a while, and I decided that the Kenda Booster Pro with SCT sidewall protection was just gonna be the tire that I always use. I've put more miles on this tire than any other tire, and I think just predictability and comfort experience is more important than like having something that I've never used before. Like I said, the race is in 3 weeks, and I already have a bike that's brand new for it, so trying to minimize having more variables. We are running XC Cushcore front and rear. I've used Cushcore a ton, and I think this is the perfect time to put Cushcore in the wheels. Specialized Control SL wheel set. Nothing really to say about this other than it's awesome. Due to the fact that we're running the 35 stanchioned SID Ultimate, we do have a 180 rotor on the front, which I think also works really well for Marji, assuming that everything everyone's told me is true. I'm gonna laugh if I get to the race and it's like super chill. I know it's not, but like it'd be kind of funny if I like really overdid it for this. All right, speaking of SID Ultimate, we do have the 3-position remote version of this suspension. I actually removed the stock rear shock and installed a 3-position remote. So we have 3-position front and rear. It works really well. I've ridden this on the BC40 a lot already, and if you guys have been paying attention to pro mountain bike racing, Epic Evo with 3-position lockout has been all over the racing scene this year, and that's another reason why I wanted to try this bike out again, is because it just seems like everyone's not racing the World Cup, everyone's not racing the normal Epic, they're all racing this bike, and there's got to be a reason for that. So we're going to kind of start to figure that out by jumping into Marji on it. SRAM level ultimate 4-piston front and rear. I run those on every single bike. I don't really like the 2-piston ones. I think the 4-piston ones just feel better in every situation, and especially going into Marji, I don't see any reason why you'd want to not have 4-piston. I know in our last couple of videos I've talked about how cogs don't fit on this. Well, I think that this is one of the only times I'm ever gonna do this, but aesthetically, we're gonna do an aesthetic blunder here, just so that I can race 100 miles on my mountain bike, because even though it's not perfect and it looks kind of goofy, I do think that I'm gonna want my togs there. So again, togs, just make me one that works, please, and then we cannot have this problem anymore. I already emailed them, by the way. They never emailed me back. I legit did email them. Right now, we have a 760 by 70 Revolve control cockpit. I do have a 80 mil stem option coming in the mail, and I'm going to test both the 70 and the 80 to see which one I like better. The geometry chart says to run 80, but I kind of wanted to give the shorter stem a try. I had it on hand, so we're gonna start with the 70. K-Edge computer mount. I actually found that K-Edge makes a computer mount that bolts into the front of this, so I'll be switching that out, but for now this one works just fine. Hammerhead Karoo is my go-to computer. One thing that I'm gonna have to do though is I'm gonna have a top tube bag with an external battery to be able to plug it in, because I just don't think it's very shaky if it's gonna last the whole race. I'm going into the race with the goal of finishing under 12 hours to get the belt buckle. and I think that that is possible for me, but it's gonna be, I'm not like a shoe-in to do it. I think it's something I could do, but I'm definitely gonna have a good day to do it. I'm gonna make sure I have extra battery just in case I am out there for 14, 15, 16 hours, so I don't get lost, basically. Just safety precaution. Running a 125 axis reverb. I run these all the time, so it's nothing like different than what I normally do. But for Marji, just having the spare battery honestly like makes me feel confident, and it is a good reason to run this dropper for this kind of 100-mile mountain bike all day epic thing I'm doing. Going to be running in the low setting, so we're gonna have a 66.5 degree head angle on this bike on race day. I've messed around with the high and the low on this bike, and honestly prefer the low setting, so that's what we're gonna run. I think most people run it in the low setting, to be honest. One thing that I wanted to point out as like a benefit of running this bike over the BC40, I can fit 2 full-sized 26-ounce water bottles on this bike. I don't have them here, but the BC40 only fits a 22-ounce on this one, and so I'll have a little bit extra water. Kind of talking about the BC40 in relationship to this bike, I do think this bike is a squishier bike than the BC40, and actually more suited to a race like Marji. I'm gonna test out that theory, and if I'm wrong, I'll let you guys know in the recap video, because I really am going back and forth on what bike is better, and that's kind of why I wanted to, I've raced the BC40 enough, I want to race the Epic Evo and really get a feel for what that's like. Let's talk about the rear end of the bike now. So we got a 38 tooth chainring 10 to 52 cassette. I think most people would be like, don't run that chainring for this race. I think it's just what I do, and I don't feel scared to have the bigger chainring. In fact, I think it helps me keep movement going. Like, even though like I could have an easier gear, I don't think that's actually gonna make me any faster. I think it's gonna, like, I like to have that easiest gear still be something that's moving me forward. Putting a smaller chainring on this is definitely possible, but it's not something that I think is going to help me, so we're going to stick to my everyday setup. I run a 38 tooth on the front of all my mountain bikes, and we're going to keep it the same way. Lastly, I'll touch on is my pedals. I run HT Leopards. These ones are, and this is something that might change before race day, these are the XC versions, and I actually do really like the platform ones, like the enduro ones. I have the enduro ones currently on my BC40. I'm gonna really think hard about that. I might end up wearing the enduro ones on the day of the race. It's a situation where it makes it easier to pedal. Obviously, you're gonna have to unclip at Marji, and like getting restarted is probably easier on the enduro platform pedal, but the other side of that is the enduro platform pedal like hits the ground a lot more than these do. Like I can tell you for a fact that it's more prone to clipping the ground because I ride both sets a lot. So I'm kind of weighing the options there, and I will make that decision in 3 weeks before the race. We forgot to bring the scale to this video, which is really funny. We'll cut to a shot of us weighing this thing. I think it probably weighs 23 pounds. If I had to guess, it feels like 23 pounds to me. Even with the cush core, that's pretty sick. And actually, hopefully I'm right. We'll find out in the future. This is with cush core front and rear.
What's your guess?
23.
23 and a half.
That's really good. Dang. Man, without the cush core, this could be 22. Anyway, let me know what you think of this build, and if I made a bike that was worthy of Marji. Honestly, don't know. I've never done it. And it'll also let us know if you like this kind of content. This is a pretty quick video for us to make, so if you like it, we can do more of them. It's not like it took me all day to build this or anything like that.
Bye.
Bye.